Hey guys, Mika here, and I'm bringing you a custom baritone body, tenor size scale length, Steve Doreen custom ukulele. Now that's a long sentence, isn't it? So I got a really beautiful, unique, and great sounding instrument to share with you folks today. So getting right into it, we have a nice, beautiful cedar top, and what I really like about the cedar top is that there's like a lot of wood grain in terms of like it's not just like kind of flat looking like oh yeah that's cedar because you can see the grain and stuff, but more when you're just kind of looking at it you can see the quarter sawn in it, and especially when you're looking at it in a light you can see it move, you can see the grain patterns, so it's really nice to find a beautiful piece of cedar like this. So we got a cedar top, then we got canary wood here on the sides and on the back. Beautiful colors. I mean, this just screams out and jumps out at you with terms of colors. We have nice, like a dark, like orange, red, like a dirt kind of red right here, and then we have nice orange, really nice the sapwood right here in the middle, nice white, but lots of different colors. Almost looks like a sun, like fiery kind of colors. And then here on the sides, more of that brown orange color with the whiteness or the sapwood here on the sides. Very very beautiful. It's actually I kind of want to look at it some more just because it's just so like, especially when you're like moving looking at it in the lighting. There's just so much going on, so much little details. Now, the binding is made of Paul Ferro wood here on the top and in the back. We got a lot going on here in the sound hole or on the rosette. So we have Macassar ebony in this strip. We have canary wood here on this little strip, and then we have ebony and it seems like wood binding that makes up the rest of the design, all around the little spots right here. We have Macassar ebony bridge, Macassar ebony fretboard, and then we have a nice little side port right here. And again, the good thing with side ports is that it gives you a nice accurate representation as if you were sitting in front of your instrument. It's impossible to sit in front of your instrument if you're the one playing it. So basically, this gives you a good idea on a smaller scale of what it would be like if you were playing, but also clone yourself and was sitting in front of your instrument to hear what it would actually sound like. So side port, really, really nice touch. We got African mahogany here on the neck. And then we also have canary wood here on the back side of the headstock. And then very uniquely on the top of the headstock, we have a strip of Macassar ebony. We have a nice strip of Paul Ferro wood here. And then we have a nice little spot of the canary wood, same as the sides and back right here on this strip. So beautiful, beautiful ukulele. I mean, this is so unique, so like wow, it's just crazy. And then on top of the whole, we have a baritone sized body, so we're gonna get a nice big warm sound, which is what you would expect from a baritone sized ukulele. But one of the downsides for baritone sized ukuleles is that the fretboard, it's gonna be kind of wide, especially for someone like me. I'm not used to making those long stretches and making playing like a G chord like this versus on a tenor I can play it like that with a shorter distance of making your chords. So we have a slightly longer scale length on the tenor size neck. Still pretty much feels like a tenor size ukulele, but then having the baritone body so that we have a nice mature sound. This ukulele is tuned in the B flat 6 tuning, meaning that if I were to go ahead and bar the second fret, then we would have the standard G, C, E, A tuning. So all you would do is you're pretty much tuning it one whole step down, or you can think about it as if you're tuning it 2 frets down. So just like that, B flat 6 tuning. So we're gonna get a nice, beautiful, open, resonant kind of sound on this instrument. But before I get into actually talk about the sound of this instrument, there are two things that I want to go ahead and point out that makes this ukulele so unique. The first thing is I'm going to go ahead and flip this ukulele to the backside. We have almost like a staggered neck in terms of having once the curvature of the neck usually is always in the direct middle of the neck, but on this ukulele, it's actually orientated on this side. So for those of you wondering, like, okay, which side is that? If you're holding the instrument, it means it's on the bottom side of the neck. So it's instead of having the curvature like right here on the middle, you're gonna have it slightly towards the bottom end of the neck. So you can go ahead and see if you can check it out in the camera, if you can see the different angles. Again, it's right here, right here. So some of my thoughts on this, pragmatically, I think it makes a lot of sense. And I've actually, this is the second time I'm playing this because I actually did another sound sample with the same maker that he went ahead and did this. But pragmatically, it makes a lot of sense from a musician standpoint. Now, in two ways. So there's a lot. It's very common to hold the ukulele like you're kind of like cupping the ukulele like this, where you're having the neck, the rounded part of the neck, kind of putting it like this, like you're grabbing it and you're holding it, and then you're having your thumb stick up a lot so that you can go ahead and use your thumb to like make chords. A very common guitar technique to do. And then like let's say you're holding an F chord, you're gonna be doing it like this, and then you're also holding the instrument. Now it feels really good to have that part of the neck have the curvature on the bottom side, because it kind of just feels better to go ahead and like cup the neck like this. So it feels really comfortable. And then for people who are like more classically oriented like me, I consider myself more on the classical end of a musician, where we like to leave the thumb on the neck as much as possible. And we usually like to leave the thumb or orientate our thumb on the upper portion of the neck, just like this. So for me, this makes a lot of sense too, because now a majority of the upper side of the neck right here is flat versus me playing more on like the curvature part of the neck. Now, no matter where I move my thumb, it's all flat, which feels really nice when I'm making chords. It just feels really natural, and again, it just makes a lot of sense. Pragmatically, it just makes a lot of sense. So that's the first thing about this ukulele. It's a very unique neck orientation on this instrument. And then the second thing is, now this is officially the second time I've played a fan orientation of the fretboard. So meaning, rather than having the fretboard just be like the frets being straight on like this all the way up, if I were to follow the frets and make it straight, notice how all of a sudden I'm not aligned with the frets. So you can see that it starts to get more and more angled the further up I go up the fretboard. Now for this, it helps because when you go on the further side, the deep end of the fretboard, you're going to want to turn your hands to the side this way to make that reach, especially when you creep up against that cutaway area. So like, let's say you're right here. Now you don't want your hands to be parallel or lining up with the frets, because then you don't have the reach. So by turning your hand this way, now all of a sudden you open up your hands to being able to reach all the way down the fretboard. Now, having the fan brace or the fan fretboard orientation like this, by having it in the same direction as if you were going to turn your hand, now it just makes more sense to have it aligned like that, so that when I'm making these kind of chords, it's not going to be, I'm not going to have straight frets, and it's going to feel a little weird. I'm trying to make the chord like that, but the frets are straight. So by it being oriented like this, it matches up and it lines up with my hand, just like this, so that, if I want to make a chord like this, it just feels natural, because my natural hand orientation is lined up with how the frets are orientated. So that's the second, very unique thing that stands out on this ukulele. On top of, everything else, it being super beautiful, having the canary wood, having just beautiful looking woods on this instrument. So yeah, let's go ahead and check out the sound. Now, again, I already mentioned this is the B flat tuning, so it's like as if you were holding the second fret. That's the standard tuning of the instrument, but now it's tuned down half step, whole step. Okay, so what you're gonna get is a really warm, resonant sound, and that's exactly what this ukulele has. And it just really sings. I mean, I'm already up here on this G chord, barring the 7th fret, hitting the 10th fret. The sustain is beautiful. The resonance, meaning how much does it fill the room? How much, like, what's the quality of the sound that you're hearing? Is it warm? Is it sweet? Does it speak to you, or does it kind of fall flat? Does it die out really quickly? Just really beautiful. Nice F chord, this nice E chord, C chord. It's just, man. The note separation is pristine, meaning that if I'm holding a chord and I want to hear every single note, nothing gets muddied out. You can hear each note crystal clear. And then especially when you play it like as a chord, you can hear da 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 da. You can just hear every single note really clean. When you're on the upper frets, super clean. This is the 15th fret, 17th fret. Look at that, 19. Oh my goodness. For a 19th fret ukulele to have even a slight sustain is almost unheard of. It's really hard to get a ukulele to sound like that. And just think, having that kind of sustain. I mean, to get that kind of sustain and resonance all the way up on the 7th and 9th fret. Absolutely beautiful. Really pristine on the A string. lot of oomph, like a lot of oomph with the low ends, especially on the top two strings. This ukulele is just really well balanced overall, and it has such a beautiful, nice, complete, fully balanced kind of sound. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this sound sample. So let's see where this instrument takes me. Let's go ahead and play in D. I rarely ever play in the key of D, so. Actually more like the key of C because we're in B flat tuning. So, okay, well, we're just gonna play in the key of C then. Killer resonance. So here's what this ukulele would sound like if you were to do some strumming on it. So for those of you who are wondering what this ukulele would sound like in the standard tuning of G, C, E, A, with this being a low G tuning, so low G, C, E, A, this is what this ukulele would sound like with a little bit of picking and strumming.